Goodness to you. This is Sporty King coming to you on Friday. Maybe. Depends on when you're watching it. That's also why I say goodness, because I don't know whether you're watching morning, afternoon, or evening, or on another day. But isn't it great to have good in front of whatever, have good precede what you do? Hey, look, welcome to Gift Friday. And I created it because so often we hear people say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Well, I say, what allure does Friday have to the person who took their last breath on Thursday or any other day before that, for that matter? So I've learned to use what I learned from Psalm 92 and 2, and that is, it is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening. In other words, I've learned that what's most important is not TGIF, but TGIT. Thank God it's today. And then TGIT. Thank God it's tonight. Because the blessing to be able to wake up, go through the whole day, and then get a chance to go to sleep and do it again, well, that's something to be thanking God for all day. Therefore, let's look at what Matthew 6 and 34 says. He said, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Thank God it's today. Today's trouble is enough for today. Thank God it's tonight. Consider, therefore, another way of looking at TGIF, and that is trusting God is free. Trusting God is free. Think about it. What does it cost to be blessed with the most important and greatest gift of the day? Waking up. Doesn't cost you a dime. And that still moves us into realizing that when we move the T and TGIF from the front to the end, we get GIFT. And then we find out what we really should be thanking God for, and that is for today. And so GIFT, God is for today. That's the gift we want to celebrate. And Gift Friday is my online reading and sharing of one of my original poems to inspire you, your company, or your family and friends. You will then be able to download a PDF, colorful PDF copy, and have it to share and have it to remind yourself that God is for today. So after I read the poem, and after this broadcast, I'll put it in a thread, and then you'll be able to download it. But today, as we continue through this pandemic, many people have learned new things about themselves and their beliefs. So I've chosen a poem that speaks to the plight of being empathetic. This week's poem is from my book, I Found Out I'm Dying, A Celebration of Life. And the title shows how often we get caught up in the headlines and we miss the messages, which are the lessons that are in the subtitle. You see, I found out I'm dying. Oh my God, he's going to die before the broadcast is over. No, a celebration of life. And that's what the book is about. It's not about dying at all. It's about life, celebrating it. LIFE, lessons intended for everyone. Don't get caught up in the headlines, because the message is often in the subtitle. And so this book is about living. And you've heard me state what I think is one of the most important lessons, and that is choosing your messenger carefully and recognize that you're carefully being chosen as the messenger. And I heard my ministry brother, Shanga Wilson, actually say that this morning in a prayer on our Marco Polo sharing. I tell you, the blessings just keep coming. But on both ends of that spectrum, it's important to know who you are so that you can know how to choose and bless someone who chooses you. But let's say you made a bad choice. Now, technically, it really wasn't. But that's what you're calling it now, because the relationship is over and you have nothing but bad things to say about the other person. And you're using that heartache to shut others out by not trusting, because all are alike. So as the poem title today will be called Refreshing, it will ask, if you've chosen to remain bitter about the decisions you've made, or have you chosen to be a part of the happiness in celebrating your life? And first, I'll read a post from my page on June 29th that has the type of advice today's poem underscores. Here's the post. And it said, and these are affirmations. Oops, you better get your glasses on now. These are affirmations that you can use, helpful affirmations for moving on. And the first one is, I've made some good decisions. Getting rid of blank, person or thing, was one of them. I'm happy to move on. I've made some bad decisions. Getting rid of blank, person or thing, wasn't one of them. I'm able to move on. And I've made some tough decisions. Getting rid of blank, person or thing, was one that I won't regret. I'm still moving on. This poem is called Refreshing. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence to the whim of another, we may find ourselves questioning and stagnant. We elicit the use of respectful mourning to adjust not getting on with our lives. We rotate the blame. And finally, as we retard our capacity to share and grow, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. When we take the time to keep balance in our lives, we allow our emotions to enjoy their newfound boundaries while breathing in the fragrant uncertainty of reaching the next plateau. We expand the richness of our ability to bring light into the lives of others. We focus on the achievement. And finally, as we trust our spiritual readiness to meet the challenge of a new day, we find ourselves rejuvenated, excited, and even flattered with our conscious reward of self-esteem. When we decide to be a part of the happiness blending our lives, we constantly feel ourselves refreshed. What I'm going to do is reread the poem, and then I'm going to show you how it is constructed to have a headline for each stanza and then have a lesson as the last line. So here's the first one. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence to the whim of another, we may find ourselves questioning and stagnant. We elicit the use of respectful mourning to justify not getting on with our lives. We rotate the blame. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence, we rotate the blame. And finally, as we retard our capacity to share and grow, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. And finally, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. Oops, let me take that back. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence, we rotate the blame. And finally, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. Headline lesson. When we take the time to keep balance in our lives, we allow our to enjoy their newfound boundaries while breathing in the fragrant uncertainty of reaching the next plateau. We expand the richness of our ability to bring light into the lives of others. We focus on the achievement. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence, we rotate the blame. And finally, as we retard our capacity to share and grow, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. When we take the time, we focus on the achievement. And finally, as we trust our spiritual readiness to meet the challenge of a new day, we find ourselves rejuvenated, excited, and even flattered with our conscious reward of self-esteem. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence, we rotate the blame. And finally, as we retard our capacity to share and grow, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. When we take the time, we focus on the achievement. And finally, as we trust our spiritual readiness, we find ourselves rejuvenated, excited, and even flattered. When we decide to be a part of the happiness blessing our lives, we constantly find ourselves refreshed. When we subconsciously surrender our daily existence, we rotate the blame. And finally, as we retard our capacity to share and grow, we rewind our emotions and dare them to resurface. When we take the time, we focus on the achievement. And finally, as we trust our spiritual readiness, we find ourselves rejuvenated, excited, and even flattered. When we decide, we constantly feel ourselves refreshed. Have you decided to be a part of the happiness blessing your life? I'll drop your gift poem into the thread in a few. Meanwhile, I want you to use it to remind yourself that the gift is GIFT. God is for today. I'm Sporty King. God bless you and have a safe weekend. Ciao. It's always about goodness.